you don't necessarily, or somebody doesn't necessarily wake up one day and they're totally disciplined, right? Um,
You need to you need to build it up. Yeah, of course.
yeah, and it kind of ties into Stephen Pressfield's thing, and he mentioned that um, a professional knows that he has to wake up every morning and fight the same battle over again, right? The battle against laziness, selfishness, seek of comfort, all the things that could sabotage him and his desire to be a professional. Like those are those are going to be battles that need to be constantly fought. There's never going to be a point in his career where he doesn't have to contend with that.
Well, I mean, I totally agree with that, and it is. No, sorry, I'm just laughing because I totally agree with that. But if you really think about that, these kind of quote unquote war against those habits, well, basically is it is a war against what the modern Western society bring us to believe is the reality, and it's kind of fucked up. Especially with what we are seeing right now all around the globe. I think we are a bunch of fucker lazy people. It seems somehow you look around and it seems like you know a few people are willing to do what is necessary, what is needed to be done in order to perform at the
Well,
top of their A game.
yeah, I mean, you have this like uh, situation in society where like people are so domesticated, right? Where like
Yeah,
they have this very narrow scope of their life where they do their daily routine, whether that's like wake up and interact with technology and then do their office job and then maybe go to the
yeah,
store. But if anything like disrupts that like daily zombie routine, like they don't know how to deal with it. Like they're almost like asleep in a sense. And
yeah. It's I mean,
it's a
you
kind of a
know,
scary trend because like
absolutely scary. Yeah,
it's
I mean,
technology, right? Like technology is draining people's attention, and it's a situation where kind of that trend's probably not going to end. People will be more domesticated, spend
yeah,
more of
but
their time. Sorry, go ahead.
it, the problem is far behind technology because I do honestly think that technology is neither evil or good. It depends on the use you do off of it. But the problem for me is always human and humans routines or habits. But the problem is that I kind of see this trend, this pattern of, especially in the Western civilization, of people are getting weak and weak by the day. Uh, it is it is frightening to some extent. It's like we are kind of babies.
Yeah, I mean,
We are basically incapable to take our own decisions for ourselves, and I mean, it is scary. I look at what happened, what's happening around the world. I mean, look at
Yeah,
Canada. I
this is
mean,
psychological behaviour. This is a sociological behaviour, though, isn't it? It's the nature. It's cyclical. So
yeah,
you have wars which turn tumultuous. They grow strong people. Those strong people finally build everything back again. It's comfortable.
yeah,
With
it is.
comfort, just about to go into walking into turmoil. That's kind of where we are in one of those cycles, certainly. So
Yeah, I mean, it is.
gets
I mean,
predictable in different ways,
no.
including like playing calendar and stuff. It's interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it is. It is sad. It is
Yeah,
hard to accept, but we kind of. I mean, I don't know about you, but I guess probably I'm grasping that. I think there are no more than 10 years separating us. I mean, I'm 35. I guess you
I'm
are.
50.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm really old, man.
Fuck's sake! I mean, judging on your voice, I thought you were like 25. In fact,
No, man, I worked in the music industry for 25 years. That keeps you young.
Jesus. Okay, so we are kind of on the on the old side of the spectrum. I guess Falcone is actually kind of the same as me, 35.
I'm 29, but
Oh, okay. Well,
I'll be 30
so
soon.
Falcone is the
Yeah.
youngest. Jesus.
Well, I
But
mean,
anyway,
I'm not a. I mean, I'll be
anyway.
30 soon, so not exactly a kid
Right. So
anymore.
my okay. My point originally was that we are all at around our 30s, and we are kind of at that point where we can judge the world as it is, and we can say that basically what happened in the last 40, 50 years in the Western civilization is kind of fucked up because, as Function was saying, bad times create strong men, and then strong men create good times, and good times
Yeah,
create weak men, and the
yeah.
cycle goes over and over again. And
It's
I
a
think our
generation.
yeah
Generation.
our I mean
Unfortunately, we are a generation of weak men. In the West, we
exactly.
are.
I
I don't
will
know if
I
that's
will
the case in the East, but in the West, we are.
yeah I was getting there. We kind of have the kind of bad luck to be born in that part of the cycle
Yeah,
where we
exactly.
are in the weak generation because
It's,
I mean even our parents or our grandpas, they kind of had you know they were the
there was a strong
strong
one.
man,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
they created the good times, and we have basically born we have born in the good times, and we
But it's
grew
kind of
in.
interesting because the 80s was a massive financial boom in the 80s. Certainly in the
Yeah,
UK, but I think
yeah,
worldwide, there was lots of money being thrown around because there'd been hardship during the 70s, and I remember them vaguely. But I remember the 80s being very successful, and then the 90s being very successful, going into the 2000s, which was actually really comfortable. And now
yeah.
we go, it's
You
kind of
could.
interesting how it's gone.
I think in the modern era, you could draw a line in the 99 2000 with the dot-com bubble, whatever, because I mean, yeah, I agree. The 80s was a golden era. There was a boom, an economic boom,
Yeah,
and getting into the 90s, things start to kind of degrade themselves, and they reached a peak in 99 2000, and then I think at
it
that
seems
point,
right up until 2008 when the big crash happened. Everything was going really nicely up until that point.
yeah,
In
you know
2008, point, all sorts of things
exactly,
happened.
exactly. That I think that's where you reach the point of no return
I just
financially.
think, yeah, unfortunately, I just think we were at the end of one of these cycles where the world is just going mad for a bit. Because I'm sitting there and I watch what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, and it's kind of, it breaks my heart really, but I think it's just something that it happens.
Well, man, I honestly, I yeah, I know it is hard to avoid it because it is the topic of the moment, but
Yeah,
I was really kind of hoping to not
avoid that.
talk
Yeah,
about
let's
that.
do away from it then.
No, you know what? It is not. It's not because I kind of fear the opinion of others. It's just honestly, man, I really feel. I mean, I really feel sick
I'm
about it.
not. I just think it's kind of relevant to where we're at with the market. You know what I mean? Because it's got this very similar emotional signatures to it. So the market, if you look at the market is just not doing very well at the moment. Certainly, Bitcoin hasn't been for a while, and
You know
I
that.
think they always marry up with the socio-political thing that's going on at the time, depending on where you are. And I think you can track that in the market. You can spot all sorts of histories in the market. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now I was just referring to the general outlook as a as a human being outside of the
Yeah,
trading environment, and I mean, I think it's kind of sad to admit that or to acknowledge that, but I I've spent the last 3 days, and I've been particularly and I'm not exaggerating, but I felt particularly sad, you know, because you know didn't I didn't really think we would have come to this.
Yeah, it just seems. I thought as human beings that was a lesson we learned.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought that was a lesson we learned and we moved on because there are big lessons that the human race learns from and then doesn't do again. You see them all the way through history. That's what learning's all about. And I had really hoped that this kind of war in the West would be something that we'd learned, but
you know what? I
it's
mean,
close to home for us. It's close to home for our.
I think basically it's because somehow here in the Western atmosphere, hemisphere, we've always had these, concept of war, as you were saying, so far, like in the Middle East or whatever, and it was like, yeah, you know what? Who the fuck cares? I mean, he's hit in the Middle East. We are not touched by it, and now we are basically seeing war at like 2,000 kilometers. At
Yeah,
least for
exactly.
me.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
close
mean,
to home. Yeah.
and it is kind of worrying, and you know, up until the point you see the USA fighting a war against terrorists in Afghanistan or Iraq or whatever. It's
It's
like,
so different, isn't it?
okay, they are fighting against someone who I don't give a shit about it, but
Yeah.
now you're seeing some sort of a Cold War replay, and it is kind of scary because I mean, I don't know, man. It is just fucked up, and I think it could really pull a strings out of you